This is the appendix of the video. It will be available at the start of every video explaining how to work. So if you already saw it, you can basically skip it. So just introduction, this video is, so all of the videos are separated in 3 different categories. The first one is basics. So the basics, I'll be teaching some basics QA knowledge that I can share. So anyone that is an introduction in their area is just joining the QA area. We have a knowledge and understanding about what it is, how to expect, how to be a good QA, and some tips. So yeah, that is the one. All the categories will be 1, 2, and 3. The second one will be a high level, so it would be more some complex topics be talking about. So anyone that is interested in some dive a little bit deeper in the QA knowledge. So I'll be sharing some thoughts on that. And 3 is just a reflexive some thinkings about what is happening, some enterprise, some scenarios that happens in real life my company had went through, and some others that I went through while working as a QA or as a teacher. And I'll be sharing what I learned, what I can take out from that. So it's more a discussion than a teaching lesson. So I can be wrong in all of the 3 topics, so on all of the 3 categories. So anyone can share any thought would be welcome. So any critics, any good and bad reviews will also be a knowledge, because it's always good to learn. So yeah, enjoy it. This is a tier 3 video, so it's a more discussion. There's no right and wrong. I can be right, I can be wrong. You can be right, you can be wrong. So left your comment here. Let's see what you think about that, what everyone thinks about that. And let's learn together. So that's why this kind of videos is about. So let's talk about QA responsibilities. So what a QA is responsible or not. From my point of view, why I do as a QA, why I expect the companies expect me to do as a QA, is a quality assurance QA. So it's a guy that is responsible to guarantee quality. What does it mean? So it should be able to guarantee quality where? So just in the sprint, just in the task that is working on it, is assigned to be working on it? No. My point of view is a QA should be able to guarantee quality everywhere in a company. So if a company has, as an example, a sprint velocity issue, so the QA should be able to go there, investigate, and try to provide some suggestions about what can be improved or not. If the pipeline is not working that well, a QA should be able to go there and investigate. If the company structure is not that good, so is missing some roles, as an example, a manager is not the better person to be here. Maybe it's a specialist, or maybe it's just a senior position instead of a manager position, or that person is not that good to be in that position. That person should be, I don't know, a manager instead of be just a mid-level engineer. So a QA, in my point of view, should be able to provide this kind of discussions. I know this is not something usual a QA do, but that is something usual I like to do as a QA. That's why I created a company to do that more freely. So with my company, I can provide this kind of suggestions more open, and I can poke around more areas, not just around the team that I'm working on. But as a QA, I like to do that. Not that I'm able to have the freely enough. I'm freely enough to do this kind of thing, but I think like that. So sometimes a BI needs to be worked on. So the sales are going down. What is happening? The security is not good enough. What you can do about that? So a task arrives to be tested, to be QA'd, and you validated like everything, business rules, regression, and you do some maybe performance testing, automation if needed, security, and business rule analysis, overall business rule analysis. This is what I think. So yes, I know like this when I'm talking about going a little bit up on validating if the position is good enough, the company structure is good enough, if the revenue is going is reaching the expected value, why it is not doing that. I know that is kind of more responsible. Is more a responsibility that I taking during work in my company than a work that I should be considering doing as a QA. But sometimes I mix the things up, so it happens. So when you work in a lot of things at the same time, that can happen. Unfortunately, that's good for me, but not that good because it's some work that I can be doing as a company and I ended up doing as a QA. But it is even for me to understand a little bit better what should end the QA responsibility and what should start. I don't know, maybe Scrum Master responsibility, manager, a developer, or something like that. Another things that I can throw up here that just for the topics for discussions. QA should some persons thinks QA should be responsible for code reviewing. I don't think the QA should be responsible for that. I think the developer with higher seniority or same level seniority should be able to do the code review, and the QA can do a look, but just to guarantee the everything that was coded is following the any acceptance criteria. But some persons think a QA should be doing that. So what's our thoughts on that? Other thing is a validating pipeline. If the doing the deploy, so a lot of companies think a QA should be pushing the button to send everything to production. I don't think a QA should be doing that. I think should be more a leadership position, or maybe if it is a QA leader, maybe QA leader should be doing that instead. The QA from the team. So yes, that is my thinking. That is my thoughts. What do you guys think about that? Let me know. Right down here. If you need any mentoring or something like, or some stuff like that from QA, you can watch my old videos, or you can maybe send me a message, send me a mail. Is everything in the description. If you want assistance from our company, if you have any issues on that side, company-wide, so team velocity, revenue analysis, and product, user experience, you can also send me any email. It's everything on the description. So yes, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I expect a nice and soft conversation, so discussion. No, I don't want to see no one talking bad stuff about anyone else, so I be respectful. But there's also acknowledge any kind of critics, so maybe you can be wrong, so you need to acknowledge that and not just hit a hammer and keep saying that you are right. So that's not a good thing. There's just a soft, I don't think that can be considered soft skill. That is a mandatory skill for everyone. Then we can live in a society. So be respectful, acknowledge any critics you receive, do any respectful critics. If you don't know how to do that, just look at just go about hamburger feedback. That can be help you a lot. So yes, that's it. Thanks. Bye bye.